Good morning. Welcome everybody to Sam and Michelle's infertility journey. Welcome back for our third episode in our vlog series. We want to let you know what we've been up to since we started the cycle. So Michelle's been taking estrogen every day, twice a day?
Twice a day, and then changing the patch every fourth day.
Yes, multiple dosings of estrogen, and then she's also been having acupuncture.
Traveling about an hour for my acupuncture appointments.
Feeling good. We're also focusing on our living healthy, eating really well, and getting to yoga when we can.
Twice a week for me, once a week for Sam. And I've been working on just really building my uterine lining, which is really important for the type of IVF that we're doing, because I'm not taking other medications that you would typically use with your own eggs. So I've been drinking pomegranate juice every day, nettle tea. The acupuncture is really helpful. Drinking a lot of sort of blood building foods. Dark leafy greens, meats, that kind of thing. On Thursday, I went down to the clinic, which our clinic's about an hour away, and I had my blood work and an ultrasound. And the purpose is that they need for the progesterone level to be really low, which indicates that I haven't ovulated yet. And then they need my uterine lining to be at least 8 millimeters in order to be sort of receptive for implantation. So I went down for blood work and an ultrasound. At our clinic, there's only one ultrasound room, and that is the room that you go to no matter what kind of ultrasound you're having. And so that's the ultrasound room where we saw our baby's heartbeat a few years ago. It's also the ultrasound that we had, the room that we had when our baby no longer had a heartbeat. So it's a very difficult room to be in, and no matter how much time has passed, every time I go in that room, I get very panicky, I get very tearful, and I just really hate that room. And so there's a lot of emotional trauma that's associated with infertility. And we'll definitely talk about that more at a later post. But that's definitely something that has come up. So then I went back to work and just waited for the call, and got the call that everything looked great. And so we were ready to move on to the next step.
And that was yesterday morning. I woke up super early and had almost no sleep. And I drove 2.5 hours, maybe a little more, because I got stuck in traffic when I got into Boston, even though it was super early in the morning. And I went into the clinic where I gave my sample, and there was a few other men there, and we lined up at the check-in desk, and nobody looked at each other, nobody talked to each other. If you made eye contact, it was really awkward.
That's really the unwritten rule in fertility clinics, is that nobody talks to each other, nobody looks at each other, like everyone is just like tunnel vision. So that's just sort of the unwritten rule. So yeah. I think that's funny that is also how it is for men.
Yeah. But fortunately, I was able to perform, and so what they do is they have these 7 mature eggs, and they take my sample and they select 7 of the best sperm that are from the lot, and then they physically inject them into the egg. It's called ICSI, and this is like the best way to do it. Make sure it happens. So yeah, so then they just watch them overnight and see what's going to go on, and they're like, we'll let you know tomorrow if what you got.
So that meant just kind of waiting until today. But in the meantime, last night we started the progesterone injections.
Progesterone in oil injections.
Yes. And so this is the route that we chose to go to do daily injections, because the alternative protocol was really not affordable. So we decided we'll just kind of do the daily injections. It was a very stressful experience.
Yeah. You want to see the needle? Look at this thing. What? How do you get the cover off? And then look at that.
So
Scary.
This is an
right?
intramuscular injection. All previous IVF cycles, it's been subcutaneous, kind of into fat under the skin. So this is my first time doing IVF using an intramuscular injection. And we had this panic moment of at what the top or the bottom of the stopper, is it at the right line?
Yeah, where does that line up? Here, I'll tell you. There's a little cone inside here, and if you look, the plunger is cone shaped, and the bottom of the cone on the very, that's where you line up your little graduation to measure it.
Yes.
Yeah, the top of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So these are all things that when it comes down to time to do it, that you start to second guess and freak out, and then, you know, picking the right spot to do the injection. And
yeah,
you know, I've always done my own injections, and so I couldn't quite reach this area very, very well, although I know some people do it.
Is there a map?
So, you know, I'm just laying there going, please don't hit my spine, please don't hit bone, please don't get my sciatic nerve. Like, I'm
trying really hard not to do any of those things and just
so it happened. It happened.
Yeah, you did it.
It was fine. It, you know, definitely uncomfortable, but I had consulted with a bunch of my IVF board friends and had a lot of tips and tricks and videos that we watched, and a whole protocol with ice and heat and massage and squats and then heat again. So it was quite a process, but we got through it. So that's going to be...
Yeah, I feel more confident going forward. We're going to make this our routine every day.
Every evening.
Every evening. I'm going to get the air bubbles out of the needle.
We're going to get this.
We're going to get it.
So the next step was this morning, knowing that we were going to be getting a call at some point from our clinic to let us know the fertilization report. And so in the past, so we've done 2 IVF cycles, but 3 egg retrievals using my own eggs. So the first IVF cycle, we got 6 eggs, all of them fertilized, 100%, and then they watched them grow until day 5. And then at day 5, the embryo is considered a blastocyst, and that's when the transfer typically occurs. And so we ended up with 2 embryos on our first cycle at that day 5. So the other ones just kind of stopped growing, or they stopped growing normally. And then for the second cycle, which is the one that we did in Spain, the first cycle, we only got 4 eggs. So we sort of froze those, came home, did the whole process over again. Second egg retrieval there, we got 6 eggs. So we did a combined total of 10. Again, 100% fertilization rate. And then we ended up with 2 embryos again. So we know that we're likely, out of these 7 eggs, that they were attempting to fertilize, we know that on day 5, which happens to be Wednesday, we know that we're probably not going to have all of them as the 5-day embryos. So luckily we didn't have to wait very long. We got the call pretty early this morning that out of the 7 mature eggs,
we got 6.
6. So we're happy with that. So we have 6 little growing embryos, and we won't get another report until we actually show up there on Wednesday to do the transfer. So there's sort of always the point where, you know, we could get the call Wednesday that none of them made it to day 5. But for today, we've done everything that we can do. We have 6 that are growing, and we'll just kind of
stay positive,
see what happens. Yep, so we take all positive vibes, prayers, juju. So that's about it for now.
yeah, so we'll let you know when we have more news. Thanks for watching. See you next time.